should be right to go now. So, it has been a while. It has been a fair while since I've done a stream. Because, you know, life has been more than just a little bit crazy. But tonight, I get to sit back, have a drink, and do some work on the Kratos again. Still not entirely sure what I'm going to do with it all, but hey, we'll try. So where we got to last time was we've been working on the turret. There's still some more work to be done on it. So we'll try and get the turret finished tonight, I think. Main body can move off to the side. So what we've got to get done is there's some recess shading that needs doing on the tank, on the turret. Need to finish off the viewports. There's a lens here that needs to get done. And I still wasn't sure if I was going to add extra colours to the weapons or not. So, we can get started. Yeah, I can turn the phone off now. So yeah, things have been, as you could guess, a little bit hectic having 6 kids in the house. So yeah, for the shading on here, we're just going to go with some non-oil. I'm only going to put it out a little bit at a time, so that if I get distracted it doesn't all dry out. Can you tell I haven't painted for a while? I just completely screwed up the first stroke. It's all easily fixed though. Yeah, last time I wanted to stream, I kind of just lost track of things and couldn't get it online. As you can imagine, some things like, you know, my mental health have suffered a little bit lately, but we're coping. It's all a very new experience having so many kids. Didn't put out enough non-oil, so I'll put something up with a bigger brush. I should have really, last time I painted anything with some terrain, I didn't really clean up the palette properly, but oh well. It will be okay. So yeah, get some recess shading done. If we get some time, maybe do some highlights. Hope you've all been well. I've ordered some stuff for Mark IV War Machine. Hopefully that'll arrive sooner rather than later. And once it all arrives, I'm going to hopefully do at least one painting video. I've got some friends who've ordered some stuff as well, so maybe we can get them involved and do some stuff as well. One of them hasn't really done any painting before. The other one thinks he's a much worse painter than he is. He just hasn't, doesn't have the time that I have, and even though he's been painting for more years than me, I get to put in a lot more hours of painting. Especially when my last job was working at a game store where I could sit and paint for hours at a time. And call it still work. Because I was painting like a store army and painting terrain for the store and all sorts of fun stuff. I don't think I'm going to shade every single recess that's on the model. I think that'd probably be a bit too much. I would very much lose concentration before I could get that done. some of them, like this part here, I'm just going to do shade in the entire area to add a little bit of depth. Sort of see it there. I'm going to try and add a bit of shade to each of the rivets, just so that they stand out a bit more. Especially, they will be one of the things that I definitely do highlight. Also, kind of really keen to hit the one of the things that I really want to paint on here, as weird as it sounds, is the tracks of the hull. I don't know why, I just enjoyed lately doing really mechanical parts. Kind of go through phases. At one point it was painting all the faces and stuff like that. And I figure whenever you've got the inspiration and the desire to paint something, that's when you really should focus on it. So maybe if I can get done with all the recess shading while I'm waiting for all to dry, I'll get the tracks done. For these parts here, I'm just going to run over the top and the shade will settle in the bottom, because again I can hit that with a highlight and it won't matter that the tops are a little bit darker. Because I'll just do the entire top in a lighter silver. My standard, I'm never going to be too neat with everything. Will still work out okay. That's a nice spot there for some recess shading. Again with the rivets. So hopefully the audio is working properly now. It's still not showing anything. It's weird. The audio mixer. Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go. Now the audio mixer is showing stuff. But I could hear the voice on YouTube. I don't know. It's the first time back using ABS. There've been updates. For some reason, everything getting weird. So in case my audio hasn't been coming through properly, hi, welcome. As you can see, I'm doing shading on the Kratos turret. Nothing too fancy. Just trying to add some depth into the metal. I think I explained this last time when I've done the silver. I put a mix of one part non-oil, one part Druky Violet, Drakenhof Nightshade, two parts of Lamy and medium. Have to look at paint rack to see what I'm talking about. Through the airbrush over the top, just to take some of the shine off. And that works quite well to make the highlights stand out a bit better. Now, I think that's a very much a spot that I missed. Around there. I think that's kind of done already. For the shading. So while that dries, I was saying that kind of keen to hit the tracks on the Kratos with some paint. So I think that's going to be what we do next. So what's become my standard track blend is actually a contrast mix. Get the big brush out, and just completely knock over my camera. It's fine. It's fine. No one will care. No one will care. So I'm gonna mix it with a bigger brush that I need, and then as I come into applying it into these areas here where it's close to the armor panels, I will switch back to a more medium brush. So we've got here. Contrast medium. We're gonna mix up. So long I had contrast medium, and I tried a few other things, and it just never quite worked out properly. So I'm really glad that one of the local stores ended up. I say local. It was like an hour and a half drive. But they had some was there. Guilliman flesh. And Griff Charger. I think was the one I used last time. Just slightly blue grey. So the Griff Charger adds a little bit more depth, and the Guilliman adds a little bit of the dirt look. It doesn't look very pretty here, but it does cause quite a decent mix once you get it on. And by thinning it down so much contrast medium, we're going to avoid the issue of it being too dark straight away. You can see here, it's adding some of the color, but it's still very thin. And we can see that it's metal underneath. And when it comes to drying, I'm going to leave it sitting on its side, just so that. Well, yeah. Drying on its side like that. That way it doesn't cause any issues with sticking to the paper. I've had people ask me why you use black paper instead of white, and mainly it's to do with the contrast on the camera. For some reason, when I tested with white, you couldn't really see the colours all that well. So that was with my old camera. I don't know how a camera that I've got. I'm not too worried if I get a little bit onto the armor panels. There will be some weathering going on later. Just trying not to get any big pools of it. So the color I've used for the by the way is lead belcher. Like I said, I don't remember what I have on camera before. So yeah. And around a lot of these areas, I'm going to hit with some storm vermin first, scaly blight dingers. Just try and build up some dirt and stuff around near where the tracks and the chassis will be near each other. I need to mix up a little bit more of this paint. Because I haven't done the front or the tops yet. I have done a much darker version of this before, and it's fine. So you can't really go too wrong with how you're gonna get it done. If you add in a little bit more of the pigmented ones, the clear, you should be pretty fun. You can always, if you go over it like I'm doing it now, find it is too bright, just add an extra coat. It looks very similar. And there. Go with. Where is it? This one. Medium shade brush. Yeah, that looks about the same colour. Whoops. So it should be right for the match. Normally I try and make sure that I'll mix up enough to do everything that's getting the colour. This time I've just come a little bit short. And as this dries, it should just darken up the tracks a little bit. What I could do as well is put a darker wash over top. Once this dries, we'll see how it goes. If I went for a darker wash over to make them stand out more, I'd use Basilicanum Grey. Not technically a wash, but we're using it for the same sort of thing. You can of course use null oil. I would dilute it a bit. But everyone uses null oil. Change things up. I haven't actually had a chance to check out the new shades. Whoop. Just drop the brush. It's fine. While we're on shading and stuff. Where is the color I want? Okay, I haven't tried this one. The wide on blue. I might actually use this to shade the viewports. It's a very dark paint. Yeah. It's probably a bit too dark. But same as our track wash. We can just thin it down. That's like a midnight sort of. So this will just darken down a little bit, and then come back and highlight later. I know a little bit out of frame there. Oops, sorry. So we just darken up the viewports a little bit, and then we'll do a highlight back with 1000 Sun Blue. I'm pretty sure that's the color I used on it. And some of the this one here. Some of the parts of the gun. I think I'm going to add some. Gold to add some extra interest to it. I get told I use gold way too much. I say there's no such thing. I think the conduit here. That'll work. These parts here. This Balthazar gold is a little bit old, so for some reason, even though it feels really thick, the pigment comes through as really transparent. There's only so much I can shake it before I just can't shake anymore. But two coats it should be fine. And the collar around here as well. See, it's fine on these raised surfaces, but when I try and paint it on anywhere flat, it's kind of transparent. I don't know what's happening. That shouldn't really surprise anyone. As well. I did consider doing the very ends, but what I noticed when I actually looked inside the end is that there's another coil looking thing there. Should be in the oranges. If I put Balthazar gold on the end, you won't really see the orange when I do it. Speaking of that, Squig orange. Yeesh. It's gonna need a lot of shaking. I'll see what the state on. I'm going to go straight from the pot. I know that's a big no, but it's very thin. Where I've messed it up. Put it in the wrong spot. I put it in the wrong spot. With a wet brush. Wash it away. Dry it off a little bit, and it should soak all up. Like an idiot, I wiped it off, paint in there. I'm guessing I put my thumb right over it or something. Yep. Yeah, I think the last time we used normally when I use Balthazar gold, it's airbrush work. So maybe it's always like this. I just don't notice because it's going through the airbrush. It's a nice smooth coat. I'm pretty sure I used it on some other models in the past worked fantastically. Yeah, as far as games go, War Machine Mark IV really got me interested to play. But I've because my brain's been really scattered. I haven't actually read the rules for it yet. I know some of the things have changed because I've read forum discussions, and the changes look really good. I just haven't actually sat and read the rule book. I know Mark well enough that I can sit down and have a game, and there might be a couple of questions that we ask, and that's fine. But I'd actually sat down and read the rules for that, and with Mark IV, I just haven't. Little lens on the side. Just gonna hit with some gem paint. And I didn't actually looking at it now. I didn't actually shade anything on the gun. So it looks a little bit flat. Be careful with finger placement. I know I could have used this in a game already, but I decided I'm going to get it painted before I do. So it's just been sitting on my desk. Stormhost Silver. Another paint that I've got to shake the bejesus out of. I think this one's gonna really on a bit of shaking. Stir the crap out of it. I think we're getting somewhere. I've been told the vortex mixes work really well for this sort of stuff. But every time I look at buying one, it's only American sockets in Australia, and I'm trying to avoid using foreign sockets. Having said that, the charger for the camera I'm using only comes in an American socket. Let's see how this goes. Will the highlights actually show up, or is the paint probably into its days? Oh no, they'll show up. Okay. Don't know if they show up on camera very well. So we're just going to try and hit mostly just the sharp edges and the rivets. Because I'm trying to go around and highlight every single panel. I would drive myself insane. I'm just trying to get something finished, not something I'm going to be taking to Golden Demon or something like that. Having said that, after 40k, did announce they're doing a painting contest thing for not just 40k models. I'm thinking about entering it with the Hyperion that I painted for War Machine. I'm doing a little bit more work on that. Because there are a couple of little details I wanted to add to. So I think that's a good chance for me to actually do it. I'm not very good at the edge highlighting though. So it'll be very much pushing myself, especially highlighting white on white. It's a white model, white highlights. It needs some extra detail into the weathering. Specifically, I need to add where I've done the weapon impact detail. It needs some metallic in it. Currently, it's just some shade paint through an airbrush, show that something's impacted there. Where if I actually go through and add the stipple some metal into the center of those areas, it'll show up much better what it is as being damaged, metal underneath. Just gonna go all the way to the top of that panel. For some of the vehicles I've done, I've just dry brushed it. But I wasn't really. I was happy that I finished the model. I wasn't happy with the finish of the model. And because it had been used in events and stuff, I just had to get it finished. There. Gently. Probably a bit much. Same around here. There. Try and dot the top of the rivets best I can. It's really hard to do at a speed that is efficient. Especially when I can't use the magnifying glass to dot things in. Because if I use the magnifying glass, the magnifying glass is my lamp, so it doesn't really work out very well. Alright, and there. I think the last part I want to do for an edge highlighter along here. Just to add a little bit more definition to that panel there. And this one here, and this one here. Yeah. I say the last one. And I keep going. People wonder why I avoid edge highlighting. I'm not good at enough. Keep going and things get better. Eventually, I hit a point where things just start getting worse. I need to get this proper clean. Just add. Because we've been using the metallic, so just a little bit of hand sanitizer. And just rub it through the bristles. You find most of the stuff comes out of it as you clean it. Now, there was one other thing I wanted to do. Just move the camera a little, it'll be fine. Just some black. Grab my pad. So just around the tip of the autocannon. Be very careful. Make sure it's very light. Just got some sponge here. I only want to leave very fine marks. I want the autocannon to look dirty, not burnt. Something like you can see that it's just a little bit darker at the end. I'm sure there's better ways to do it. I can't think of any. And very similarly, the Volkite is a heat-based weapon. So you could add some wash. In this case, I'm going to use thin down Druky Violet. I'm just going to thin it down with a little bit of Lamy and medium. Just around here. So it's further towards the back. I'm going to go with the Druky Violet. Then very similarly. Drop of nightshade, which would be this one here. Around there. This is just thin enough that you'll really see the metal underneath, but it'll add it tint. And you'll see it'll actually like some of it will have mixed. And that's just going to help it blend. And then once all that dries, around the front of it, with some seraphim sepia. Actually, because I'm going to do it on the very front, I can actually do it just now. I'm not even going to worry about thinning it down. Just on the actual front there. maybe like a little highlight bit. And that'll give like the weapon bluing effect once it dries. As if the heat of the cannon firing is starting to warp the metal. I do have a heat gun that I use sometimes, but it is far too noisy to be used on stream. And it's in the garage, so it's far away. All the way in the next room. Now, Thousand Suns Blue. Let's fix up these view screens. Back to an artificer brush. I think this is the first time working off wet pellet tonight. Alright, so just down the side and over the top. Side and across the top. That way it leaves a little spot where we put the blue wash in a corner. And then we can come in once this is dry with another little highlight Lithern blue. Which you would think is too bright for the Thousand Suns of Blue. But for a screen look it's fine. I think that is. I missed a viewport. The reason I use the gem paints for these is just because it's got a gloss built into it. And since I'm working with the silver base already, it just cuts out all the steps of having to paint the lenses by hand. Right, let's check how this is going. So this is all dried now, and you can see that it's stained a little bit, but we haven't lost the metal. Put that over there. Put our shades back where they belong. Hate that I haven't got more space on my racks. Because every time I buy another rack, I add more paints, and it never keeps up. And I think the last thing we're going to do tonight, because time is starting to run out. Paper towel. You've got space. This pellet. I'm going to have to clean up tomorrow. So very similar to what we done earlier. We're going to get a heap of contrast medium into a spot. We're going to put a very thin contrast medium silicon grey over the tracks. So it does need to darken up a little bit. That's on camera. Yay. I done goofed. I don't think I hit anything other than me. There is someone my Mandalorian chip. I don't see any in the model. Don't see any of the model in the background. Everything I say is coming through twice. Ugh, ugh. How does that sound? Does that sound better? I think you just missed me throwing paint all over the room. Okay. Yeah, for some reason OBS isn't showing some of the audio. It's weird. Alright. Let's try that again without the oops. So I've mixed up some contrast medium. I'm going to add some siliconum grey and just give another wash over these tracks to darken things up a little. I'm not going to worry about too much about getting the sides of the tracks this time. Because they will end up getting highlighted a little bit anyway. So I just want to try and darken this down a little. So with any, because the contrast medium dries clear, as much as it looks a little bit blue now, it should dry with more of a grey finish. Nearly done. Then we're going to have to let this sit dry again and pick it up another time. So I think that's going to do it for the night. Yeah, the audio issues are really weird because OBS is telling me now that I have no audio coming through. All it's telling me is the background music is playing. I've got to work out what the hell's going on. It's been too long since I've streamed. I just don't know how to troubleshoot it anymore. With that, we'll end up here for the night. Yeah, I'm not sure we'll be able to get back on stream again, but keep an eye on Twitter and Facebook, and I'll post on there and let you know. Have a good one, guys.